Everyone, everywhere has secrets. Did you know that everyone has special characters and they've kept it a secret from me my entire life? But I won't stand for that. That's why I made a helmet. I call it machine that lets me read people's minds when I want to, or PSYCHOPOMP for short. But something happened when I put it on. It didn't let me read people's minds, but it did let me see something else. A world hidden from me that everyone knew about. A hidden world in plain sight with all sorts of animals and creatures and dead bodies. There are catacombs hidden under every public government building. I will not allow any more secrets to be kept hidden from me.
Hey, this is my first time writing a script for anything, which is crazy, but I have a literal burning affinity for PSYCHOPOMP. Just has this gritty, grungy, rusty sort of realistic, bioweapon early 2000s vibe if it was slammed into a blender that I had to make my own take on information presented in the game, including the characters. Yeah, characters. Also, yeah, I'm the guy who made the PSYCHOPOMP fan song that you guys absolutely love, by the way, which is still insane to me. That thing has like 4K views. That's like the most I've gotten on one video in a long time. Anyway, I have a lot of points to break down, so I'll start off with something brief. I apologize if you hear stuff in the background. I'm laying on my bed right now and my laptop loves to go crazy, but we have the protagonist whose name is unknown, but for now I'll just call Venus. More on that later. Is an extremely paranoid young woman who introduces herself in a very brutally honest, harsh way that almost makes you think off the bat, why is she like this? Going off the intro video, she seems smoking and honestly shaking like she just had a panic attack, so I'm gonna assume that she's at least 21. She also mentions that everyone, everywhere has secrets. Her version of bringing those secrets to life is making this helmet she deems as the machine that lets me read people's minds when I want to, / PSYCHOPOMP for short. According to both the Merriam-Webster Dictionary and the Oxford Dictionary, the definition for PSYCHOPOMP is a conductor or guide of souls or the dead. This could potentially mean that some of the souls we are seeing in all three maps could potentially be dead or just unguided, maybe making her interactions with the dog at the beginning of the tutorial and the use of the hammer to just murk enemies, just that little sweet, simple touch. The only living creatures I can really think of as of currently are the Thraits species, which I will come back to later on. When putting on the helmet, Venus seems pretty ecstatic immediately, constantly smiling ear to ear in almost a maniac, drug-infused manner, completely psyched out of her findings. For her findings. I told you I'm not great at scripts. Anyway, she just wants to bring light to these hidden government secrets no matter what. And she will do it. She won't let anybody take any more secrets from her. Again, Venus is a very blunt character. It will not hold back by slandering anything, and I mean anything and anyone in any way. But some of her words are very imagery induced. There are a variety of cases in the game where Venus will use honestly really good imagery and senses, especially for an imagery descriptioner like me, almost as if she's hyper aware and hypersensitive to everything around her, which honestly I know how that is sometimes because I'm hyper aware and hypersensitive myself. Jumping forward, I want to give some light to the health stat icons within the gear. They really don't get enough love, and I believe not enough people see them, especially within their first playthrough, because it gets kind of easy to dodge enemies. But she's been taking the pain for a while, and once it becomes unbearable, she just feels like giving up. She's just tanking the pain before a while swells up, and you can see it with blood pooling out of her mouth and dead eyes. The more interesting part is that she actually heals with syringes with red liquid in them. I'm going very off script. This may be very far stretched, and I'm not really too afraid to throw the idea of it since we don't know that much about the game right now, but I believe that Venus may be suffering some symptoms of substance abuse. both in the mindless smoking from the beginning of the intro to the game knowledge that she's just happy directly after shooting some medicine, because that may be her way to self-medicate her own trauma or self-inconveniences so she can stay hyper-focused on searching for what she's been looking for all along. Though please don't take this 100% seriously, as I honestly don't know. It could just be an aesthetic choice because this is a dungeon crawler as well. As for her obsession with only public government affiliated funded buildings, which I'll just call HOG, hidden areas under government, for the convenience of this video, that could be her paranoia and resentment for the government in general, and maybe just being extremely conscious of things circulating around social media that brings her to resent these things. In the current version of the game, which I mainly have the April patch for as of now, there are 3 main hog areas you can go to. The sewer treatment, which has the anime stocks and the statue I'll get to later. The public school, which has an underground factory where they melt kids to make egg slicers and butter knives. I literally cannot make this up. You have to play it yourself. Please play it yourself. An hospital, which honestly is the most silent 2 area, yet it has like 3 historical figures, a narcissist, a warmonger, and just straight up each of these places have notes and bring some unique dialogue from Venus. There's already a video or 2 going on into more detail about the buildings and the notes, and I'm here for the theory. So my theory of this, why it's specifically government buildings, is that these underground areas could potentially be real in that universe. Okay, look, people are yelling at me, people are going crazy. I understand it sounds crazy, but this game is just more bizarre. All these areas are literally made to drag out this paranoid woman going through withdrawal, and she's treating it as if it's normal, as if it's natural. That, and the Thraits also mentioned being on Earth in one of the transient locations. Oh yeah, there's like 3 of those, by the way. I'll knock them out a little bit later. Remember what I said about psychopomps being guides for souls? The anime stalks, flesh things, and the meaty insect claws and other fun things are dead there. They could have potentially been humans or creatures from our Earth who couldn't have passed, which is a sad interpretation. This is my video, and I can geek about it all I want, and I love this game, so just let's go on to the most important species, the Thraits. Yeah, I have a fan running on in the background now because it's a tiny bit later in the day, but we're gonna go on and talk about the Thraits. The Thraits are the only fully friendly species in the game which you can interact with and are generally very sweet. Going off of their text both in the Thrait village and the sewers, their main focus at the moment of the game is food. They're most likely also omnivores, maybe carnivores, due to one of the women specifically mentioning livestock, even though I don't know what livestock to talk about. I kind of wonder if their food is the anime nuggets. That would actually be kind of funny if that was the case. Anyway, going back on script. They are quite literally starving, and their only sense of hope to reduce the chance of famine is getting the queen back, or hoping that the queen is doing well. In their village, there is an image of 2 spindly beings coiling armed with 2 peculiar symbols next to them, both being the same religious icons on a note on a paper named the Queen of Venus and the King of Mercury. Interestingly enough, their religious iconography is actually just the symbols for both planets upside down. Another fun fact, according to NASA, Venus is a symbol for the goddess of love, aka Aphrodite. Mercury symbolizing Mercury, the god of commerce and communication, which connect pretty nicely when you look at how everything is pieced together. I won't touch on Mercury just for the sake of this video, even though I have a lot of crack theories on him too, but if you are interested in one on him and this video does well, let me know. I might even just go ahead and do it. Now, according to the Getty Museum, to tie back to Aphrodite and Venus as well, Venus is one of fertility, attraction, both in a platonic and sexual context, and decency. Now, I kind of doubt Karbonic really dove that deep into the planetary connections, and I'm not criticizing you, Karbonic, in any way. Please keep doing what you do. I love content like this. but in a sense, I guess you can call Venus Aphrodite. The protagonist of this game is quite literally the Queen of Venus, and she has lived as a human vessel on Earth in hopes to reviving it or harnessing its teachings, which could honestly help make sense of almost alien nature of the game and the conversations the dog like to have. I also want to note that there's a lot of weird baby themes and like feeding and stuff, like how the anime stocks talk about how they need the queen to like die to nurture the young and to start new generations. The medallion men talk about using babies for egg slicers and just other random things unrelated to the cog motif could have symbolism, but I'm not gonna go that deep about it either. Venus just has this sort of soft spot towards the end of the game, but I want to save that big stuff for her final part. Going on to the dragonfly statue, there is one that you can get an achievement for standing in if you have it on Steam and you're playing the Steam version, not the itch.io version, I don't believe, which is awfully peculiar to the ones we see at the end screen. Again, I'll get to it later. Please give me time. Another fact is that we've only seen female Thraits thus far, and I kind of have a tiny theory about that the Thraits can only really have other female Thraits. Like, they literally cannot birth a male Thrait, but there is no evidence for that, so throw that at the window. I just think it's cool to kind of think about that in a way. But Venus herself, Aphrodite, she is nurturing, she is fertility, but in context for the one that's in this game, she's probably badass and probably a lot, maybe a little bit mentally ill, but even if she may not show that thing in a literal sense, she can still have those qualities, and she does exhibit those qualities. That's why I also believe that Psychopomp helmet helped Venus remember that she's a god, to remember her task at hand and remember why she's a subject in this weird, odd world. Up to the point of making the helmet, she would have never seen these settings and creatures close up, and she could have potentially had her memories of a queen wiped in order to experience to assimilate to Earth. Though with the helmet back on, her withdrawal makes the journey crazier by the second. There's also another crazy area which only adds on to more straining chaos. Daddy's bed place. An extremely small area, probably the smallest area in the game, with broken walls and a TV with an EAS testing system. I won't get that deep into that either because I know Mr. Crunchy's in his video already spoke on it really well and like really good detail. But maybe the reason for her paranoid, finicky, brash behavior could just be childhood trauma. I don't 100% believe that to be the case though, since she's just seems to be naturally scared, and I don't want to psychoanalyze and promote that idea too much because I know some of the game is inspired by Karbonic's own dreams and ideas and other pieces and bits for, you know, just game knowledge, but just know that it could be an idea. I want Venus to be happy, guys. There's so many unique ways to interpret this game. That's just one of them. There are gonna be happy ones. You can think she's happy. You can think she's just a happy person that just went crazy. I promise you, you will be okay. Once you've collected all 3 eggs of the Earth, Venus can go through the Mariana Trench and make it to the center of the Earth, birthing this odd baby creature thing, as well as calling her own helmet a baby, using the 3 eggs of the Earth. Her words are much more calm and down to earth, ironically, and with the new baby in her hand, she finds her wings and soars off, rolling credits. Hey, are those dragonfly wings? Yep. Yes, they are. This entire end scene only dives deeper into her hidden or repressed nature as a god, her job as Aphrodite and the Queen of Venus in turn, to nurture and care for those below her. She is a mother of all and a neighbor to Earth in return. Feeling at peace with herself as she flies to whoever knows where. In a sense, you can say that your first completed playthrough of the game is Venus. The hogs, transient locations, Venus is a core part of Earth. Every soul she guides beats through her veins and into the heart. She has sympathy. She has a soft spot for new life, and all she needed was her own self-guidance. Though, despite being a god and in a way a subject according to the King of Dogs, or at least something related to the King of Dogs, her sense of no more duty has apparently put Earth at stake according to him. So much, in fact, that they had to wake up Mercury and put him into a new subject on another planet in order to get her and to stop her. I'll leave that to that unless you guys are interested in hearing my crack theories on Mercury and his purpose on what's been fed to us in the game. Now, I could really just end it here, but I have some good recording space left. Let's go on to some color psychology. Me being primarily a character-focused artist, not professional by the way, and a color nerd, I want to give the game a huge nod for its constant use of great tone, mood, and the use of red. The gritty, bold, bright, dark red. In one sentence of a National Institution of Health article titled Emotionality of Colors, an implicit link between red and dominance, the introduction section mentions red as something that enhances others, perceives attractions, dominance, anger, and aggressiveness. From a science and light standpoint, red has the longest wavelength, often stimulating our eyes, which also has an effect on marketing and food service, as it brings a sense of urgency to buy something when you see like 50% off or on sale, on clearance, or it just makes you hungry looking at it, like in fast food logos. All of these aspects can easily apply to Venus's attitude and her needs as both a human and a god in general. Her need for truth, purpose, nurturing, the sense of need. Venus is the feeling and just the epiphany of need, the epiphany of having a need, to just have something that you're needed for. But yeah, I wanted to add that because if you know, color psychology just adds another layer of flavor, and I genuinely appreciate that sense of unison. I know that this was a lot of information, and I wrote the script in one sitting, in 1 hour, with revisions this morning. I literally recorded all the script reading this morning just because I am just geeking on this game that hard. But this is by far one of the best games I've ever gotten to witness, both on YouTube, which I find a lot of underground content on, and in my hands on Steam. Thank you, Karbonic, and just everyone and anyone in Fading Club for making this such a unique, confusing, mind-scratching game like PSYCHOPOMP that lets you just really go wild with what you think the lore is, and just being able to explore like developer creativity. And I really hope that there's more to come, both for this game and your careers in general. We need more gritty, surreal games like this. It's just something I really love. If you want to watch my fan song, I'll have it over here, including the trailer for the game. All of my sources will also be linked in the description, including things for PSYCHOPOMP. I still have a few minutes here. What do I want to say? Guys, just stay creative. Please, 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 please stay creative. We do not get such beautiful, free, by the way, games like these without really hard thought and work from the developers. It's a beautiful thing. I don't want to sit here and yap your heads off for 10 minutes, so I'll let you watch the rest of this. And I love y'all. Stay creative. Sources will also be in the description. Peace.